Guys, the real cure to anxiety is to just zone out. Let go of everything and zone out. That's the real key to being present. Not trying, not forcing, just actually relaxing into the present moment naturally and effortlessly. Like, for example, when I was a kid, I would just look out the window. It'd be a nice, beautiful, sunny day. And there'd be a nice, light breeze flowing. And I would have the window open and I would just rest my head on the windowsill and I would just feel the breeze and feel the sun and just look outside and see the street and see all the trees and all the leaves blowing in the wind. And I wouldn't do anything. I would just be there. I would just be present without trying to be present, without forcing it, because forced presence is not presence. Forced relaxation is not relaxation. And I just felt so calm and at peace with the world. Just feeling the vibes, you know? And again, you can't force this because it's like forcing yourself to sleep. Have you ever tried to fall asleep and you're trying to sleep, you're forcing yourself to rest and it just doesn't work and you feel more awake? It's the same thing. Or if you've ever tried to relax or tried to calm down, you can't really try to relax. It's something that you have to allow to happen naturally. When you stop trying, when you notice all the tension in your body and you release it, that's when you actually start to relax. That's what I mean by zoning out. Have you ever been doing something? Maybe you're playing a game, maybe you're taking a test, maybe you're driving, and you're just focused. You're in the zone, you're in the flow state, and you didn't try to get there. It just kind of happened. You just were focused on what you were doing, and then everything just started unfolding, and you're just taking action, and you're just doing stuff. That's what I mean. Not trying, not forcing. Just allowing relaxation to happen. That's how you zone out and you lock in and you get rid of anxiety. Anxiety isn't something you can fight off or force out with more logic, more thoughts. Because when you're overthinking, when you're super anxious and then you try and out logic it and outthink it, well, now all you have to think about is thoughts. If you're trying to drive out thoughts with more thoughts, all you're doing is more thinking. It's like when you throw a rock in the water and you see all the waves ripple out. If you keep throwing rocks in the water, the rocks are thoughts or emotions in this case, and the water is your mind. If you keep throwing rocks in the water, it's just going to keep rippling out, creating more disturbance. But if you just leave it alone for a second, now all of a sudden everything smooths out, everything returns to its natural, stable state. And over time, this is really helpful because what you learn is you learn to trust your intuition, you learn to trust your instinct, you learn to just zone out and just go with the flow and trust what you already know how to do. So then instead of forcing yourself to do good habits, forcing yourself to meditate, forcing yourself to go to the gym, you just start doing them because they feel good. And this doesn't mean like living like an animal. Oh, don't think at all. You still contemplate and think when it's necessary, but you learn to differentiate when it's time to think versus when it's time to act. And that's especially important in today's day and age when we are so sucked into our phones and social media and we're doom scrolling all day. And even with like content like this, self-improvement content, because I used to watch so much self-improvement content. And one day I realized that all I was doing was watching the content. I was just watching video after video after video. And I was tricking my brain into thinking that I had actually accomplished something. But really all I was doing was sitting on my ass on my phone all day watching videos. And I wasn't actually implementing. I was just gathering knowledge. But knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Knowledge without application or implementation is useless. Who cares if you watched all these self-improvement videos? Who cares if you watched all of my videos if you're not actually putting them into practice in your real life? And again, this turns back into the problem of overthinking and anxiety because now we're consuming all this content, getting all this information. Now we have information overload. Now we're feeling more anxious. Now we're feeling more anxiety. And now we have more thoughts and thoughts and thoughts in our head. And we're not actually letting them out. We're not actually acting upon them and doing anything, right? There's a time to think and there's a time to act. It's like in Fight Club where they said self-improvement is just mental masturbation. Like it's not doing anything. You trick your brain into thinking you're accomplishing something, you're doing something, but you're really just sitting there doing nothing. It's not until you actually go out into the world and act. For me, for example, going out and actually forcing myself to talk to people, to get over my social anxiety, not just watching, videos about social anxiety and how to get over it, but actually implementing that, actually going and talking to people and learning and experiencing and facing the cringe and facing the fear, or starting business, starting this YouTube channel. Instead of just watching a bunch of videos about starting the YouTube channel, I had to actually just start the YouTube channel and press record and start making videos. And I've learned so much more from experience rather than just watching videos. Because at the end of the day, life is the best teacher. Experience is the best teacher. If we are sitting in our rooms all day, just reading books, watching videos, gathering information, that's great. But it's pointless if we don't do anything with it. It's like if we have a sword and we're sharpening our sword all day, it's like, okay, you have a really sharp, pointy sword, but you're not doing anything with it, so who cares? But how did I learn to stop being so attached to consuming content? How did I get out of that loop of just consume, consume, consume? It was by zoning out, right? By learning to let go of all those thoughts and just trust my intuition, trust the present moment, trust my highest self, trust the universe, trust God. Just trust the process, trusting that all the information I have consumed will be there when I need it. When I go and face my social anxiety, it will be there. When I go and record this video, the knowledge will be there. My brain will pull out the knowledge that I need when I need it, and just trusting that process. Like when I was a kid and I would go and take an exam, other people would study a lot. I wouldn't really study that much. I would go over a little bit and then I would just go and take the test because I was like, I don't need to repeat this over and over and over to try and memorize it and stress myself out and overthink the problems on the test. I know that when I see the specific problem on the test, my brain will pull out the specific information I need to solve that exact problem. And it's the same thing in real life. When you're at the gym, maybe a lot of people have gym anxiety, they're scared to get started, but it's like, you can watch all the fitness influencer videos you want, but until you actually go into the gym and get started, nothing's going to happen. You're not going to lose weight. You're not going to build muscle. But when you trust your intuition, you trust your instinct, and you just go and you do what feels right, then you're actually able to make progress. And this isn't to say that you should just go and do whatever. It's good to have a bit of a plan, but we need a balance between structure and spontaneity. When you trust yourself, you learn to trust your instinct, you understand that you can try a lot of different things, and then you learn to differentiate, okay, what is right for me? I've tried this style, I've tried that style. What is right for me? What is the best style for me? How can I take a little bit of this and a little bit of that and create my own style? So all this just comes down to, we have to get out of our heads and into the present moment, right? We have to zone out and we have to lock in. You lock in by zoning out. If you've ever watched Kuroko no Basket, they get into the zone, right? And they're in just this flow state on the basketball court, and they're just able to hit all these crazy shots and do all these crazy moves and make insane passes because they're not thinking anymore. They're not thinking, they're just flowing, they're just doing, they're just being. And this takes time, this takes practice, because we're so used to living in our heads and thinking about life instead of actually being in the present and experiencing life. But the more you just practice zoning out a little bit each day, you naturally start to lock in. You zone out, you just trust your instinct, you trust your intuition, you trust all the knowledge that you've accumulated and all the experience that you already had, and just trust yourself that you already know what to do. You already know, deep down, we all know what's best for us. We all know what we should do. And if we don't know, then we know how to figure it out. But we don't trust ourselves enough. We're constantly second guessing and seeking out other information. So don't second guess yourself. Trust your instinct, trust your intuition, zone out and lock in. You've got this. All right, thank you all for watching. Short video today. I'm trying to make shorter videos because I know people have shorter attention spans nowadays. So I want to stop yapping so much and just get straight to the point. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a blessed day, and I'll see you all next time.